My mother was poetic, I think, on stage. I didn't see her enough, because a lot of her work was before. She was very, very intense. She always played leading lady. She played Anna Karenina. She played in Gaslight. She played in The Dybbuk, as you know. And she played in Molière, as did my father. They did Desire Under the Elms. These things were translated into Yiddish. And one of the interesting things is my father and my mother were quite literate and literary. They never went to they didn't go to high school or college, but they were self-taught. And they would adapt plays from English into Yiddish, beautiful Yiddish. In fact, they did this for The Death of a Salesman that was recently with Avi Hoffman. And I don't know if you know that. And they talk about it in the program. Did you see it?
I did.
Yeah, I thought it was a wonderful production. Now, my father and mother, they adapted that play. They saw The Death of a Salesman on Broadway in 1949. And they loved it. They saw something in it. They felt the Judaism, the Jewish, not Judaism, but the Jewish, that these people, the Lomans, were Jewish people, really, which is, Arthur Miller kind of took distance from his Jewish roots. So they were poetic people, both of my parents. They were amazing people. They would speak and you would listen. My father was a very funny man, and he was a storyteller. People would sit and just watch him and listen. My Aunt Paula used to say to me, and don't be upset by this, my Aunt Paula used to say, if you weren't born, me, this was my mother's sister, your mother would have really been possibly a major, because she was like any of the people, and I don't have a problem with it, and it sounds like denial, I don't feel it, because I was able, from childhood, to really appreciate that part of my parents, because that was them. I felt it was an amazing thing to see my mother on the stage when I did. One time, there was this Camp Boyberick that my Aunt Paula played the piano in for 21 years. And it was an adult camp, and my parents sometimes would go and perform there. And my mother and father did a scene from a play called Eifersucht. And it was, all of a sudden, my father was strangling my mother. Now, this is in Yiddish. I didn't speak Yiddish particularly. I mean, I understood it. But I started to, and I was not a child at that time. I was maybe a teenager, but I got so upset and I was crying because it was so real to me. It means jealousy, I believe, right? You know that? So it was, they were amazing. My father was an amazing actor, by the way.